Morning, Kal Kadosh. Masechet Bava Metzia Daf Gimel Amud Aleph. We're talking about 3A1. Okay? So the Gemara now says as follows. Okay? The Gemara says, we're talking about a case, we were asking, do we hold like Sumchus or not Sumchus? Remember that Sumchus says that Mamona Mutal Besafek Cholkim Belo Shavua, which means whenever you have a doubt of money, so you divide the money, half, but even without a Shavua. So again, I come and I say, it's mine, or you owe me the money. He comes and he says, it doesn't owe me the money. There we just say, half, divide it, chetzi, right? Afilu belo Shavua. So the Gemara comes and it says, okay, fine. So the Gemara is going to come and say, okay, fine. Makes sense, right? In such a case. But that's even without a Shavua. Why do we say Bayasa we need a Shavua? Even without a Shavua. Tachloku, yachloku, chetzi. So we said that maybe our case was not like Sumchus. Yeah, because obviously Sumchus comes and he says that what? That it's going to be below Shavua. Here it says that we needed a Shavua. So we went and we said it's not a Kavachomer. He says over there, right, in a case where there's Drara de Mamona and Drara de Mamona, which means each one is 100% losing, and we still come and we still say that it's going to be below Shavua, here where there's not going to be any Drara de Mamona, or we're not going to say the exact same concept, right, that they're going to divide it without a Shavua. Okay, so says the Gemara. Okay, so says the Gemara as follows. Thank you. So he comes and he says like this. He says, right, afilu tema sumchus. Even if you want, you could say that it is sumchus. Yeah, even you could come, you could say it is sumchus. So he says, shivua zo midrabanan hi. This shivua is midrabanan, like Rabbi Yochanan. Ta'amar Rabbi Yochanan, but says Rabbi Yochanan, shivua zo takanat chachamim hi. This shivua is a takanat chachamim. Yeah, I don't need an echo. Thank you. שלא יהיה כל אחד ואחד הולך ותוקף בטליתו של חברו ואומר שלי הוא. Which means that we do not need that every single person is going to come and he's going to grab somebody's things. This is mine. It's not bad, no? This is mine. We don't want that. So in order that we don't want, you know this is mine, yeah? Yeah?
For $1,100 a month.
Yeah, so he comes and he says, we don't want a person to do that. So therefore, since we don't want, right, to do that, so therefore he comes and he says, this is a Shivua de Rabbanan, which is a Takanat Chachamim. Right, we don't want that. So therefore, Rabbi Yochanan comes and he says that the Shivua of our Mishnah is because of a reason. And not because of Din Klali, right, that we don't do it without a Shivua. Fine. So therefore, it could still be Sumchus. Makes sense, no? Okay. Next. He comes and he says as follows. Right? Lema matnitin, right? Delo Rabbi Yoseh. He comes and he says like this. Maybe our Mishnah is not like Rabbi Yoseh. Di'i Rabbi Yoseh, but if it's going to be like Rabbi Yoseh, Ha'amar, he said, Im ken ma'ifsid Ramai. What did the Ramai lose? The Ramai, the cheater, he didn't lose anything. Ela kol yemunach ad she'yavo Eliyahu. But everything's going to stay there until Eliyahu is going to come. So therefore, obviously our Mishnah is not like Rabbi Yoseh. Elamai. So then, who's our Mishnah like? Rabbanan. Te'amri kevan dabni Rabbanan. Since the Rabbi says Shari imunach ad she'yavo Eliyahu, which means that the last one is going to be placed until Eliyahu Navi is going to come. Hanami kishardami. So to this talit is like the maneh shlishi, which is placed in a safek, and therefore it's a svekahu. It's going to become a safek. Okay. And once it's going to become a safek, so therefore that's going to be the case over here as well. Amen. Says the Gemara, Hai Mai, right? What is the comparison between them? Okay? Which means, is it difficult to say that our Mishnah is going in accordance to the Chachamim, right? In such a case, he comes and he says like this, he says, I understand according to the rabbis. He says, Hatam over there, one of them, it belongs to for sure one of them. So Amri Rabbanan, so the rabbis are going to say, Yehemunach ad she'yavo Eliyahu. Parhacha, in our case of our Mishnah, maybe Bemet belongs to both of them. Maybe they both picked it up at the exact same second. Yeah, maybe. So he comes and he says, or maybe they both paid the mocher. Right? So therefore, what's going on here? So Amri Rabbanan Paleg b'Shavua. So therefore, the rabbis are going to come and they're going to say, divided with a Shavua. Elai Amri Rabbi Yosei. But if you're going to tell me it's Rabbi Yosei, so that's why it could still be like according to Rabbanan, because over there, 100% it only belongs to one person. Again, each one of them has 100, and the third 100 is 100% only of one of them. In our case of the Mishnah, it could belong to both of them. They both came and they both picked it up at the exact same time. They both came and they both paid, right, the mocher. Yeah? So what's going to happen? So therefore there, I'm going to say that you're going to divide it with a shavua. But if you're going to tell me Chitat Rabbi Yosei, hashta now, umahatan, just like over there, the maneh shlishi. Tivadai kamaneh lemor, v'ikamaneh lemor, that each one for sure has 100. Amar Rabbi Yosei, says Rabbi Yosei, that what? Everything is going to be placed in by Eliyahu Navi. So hacha, in our case, that I'm going to say that it actually does belong maybe to one person. Lo kol sheken, that you should actually leave it until Eliyahu Navi comes. Which means obviously our Mishnah is not going according to Rabbi Yosei, because just leave it until Eliyahu Navi comes. The entire thing. Right? Not only, remember, according to Shtat Rabbi Yosei, not only the manah shlishi, everything, the entire case, everything waits until Eliyahu Navi comes. So same thing by our Mishnah. So it says the Gemara, afilu tem Rabbi Yosei, even if you're going to tell me it is Rabbi Yosei, hatam vadai karamai. Hacham yimadi karamai. Ematarvayu badada diagbai. Over there, the Shita of Rabbi Yosei makes sense because there's for sure a ramai. Somebody came and he's tricking. Somebody came and he's trying to trick the guy and say, no, I've got the 200. And now the guy starts thinking, Bemet, you know what? I don't remember who gave me what. For sure he gave me 100. For sure the other one gave me 100. But I have 300 now. I don't remember which one gave me which. Now what happens? Now I start having doubts. Because at the beginning maybe I thought it was one, then I thought it was the other, and now I'm thinking the other. Now I'm not even sure anymore. Because they're both asking for the 200. There's a problem over here. But there's for sure a ramai. Here, there's not a for sure ramai. Why? Maybe they both picked it up at the exact same time. Maybe they both came. So if there's no vadai ramai, so that's why according to Rabbi Yosei, I'm not going to say then that the entire thing goes until Eliyahu Navi comes, right? That's only in a case where the first is sure ramai. So says the Gemara, inami, or another answer also. Hatam kanis le Rabbi Yosei ramai, ki hechi delodi. Right over there, the Rabbi Yosei is going to come and going to give a knas to the ramai, right? Because in order that he should come and he should be modeh. What does that mean? One more time. You have one trickster. I came and I gave him an amount. Yeah? Michel came and he gave him an amount. He doesn't remember who gave what. We know for sure that each one of us gave minimum of 100. We just don't know, right, who gave the 200. There's for sure one Ramai. You know why there's for sure one Ramai? Because we're both telling him, give us the 200 back. Now he only has 300. Now he didn't go and spend the 100. He knows for a fact that he only received 300. Yeah? So therefore, right, there's the Ramai. Comes Rabbi Yosei and he says, we're going to give a knas. What's the knas? The knas is to the Ramai. Why is the knas is to the Ramai? You're going to tell me, listen, he's going to think that he wants to punch out the other guy. Yeah, he wants the other guy to suffer. So what is he going to do? He's going to come and say, give me the 200. Now really, Be'emet, I was tricking him. I just don't want him to have his 200. So leave that 100 by Eliyahu Navi. Comes Rabbi Yosei and he says, you know what we're going to do? Even your 100, you don't get. So now the Ramai starts suffering. Why? Because now even his own 100 that for sure was his, he doesn't get. He thought he was trying to stip it in the guy's face and he wants to make him lose 100. Now even his own 100, he doesn't get. It goes and has to wait until Eliyahu comes. So purposely comes Rabbi Yosei and he makes this institution that 100% against the Ramai, we want him to be modeh. Why? Because now he's actually suffering. Beforehand, he thought that, listen, I'm going to come and I'm going to give it to him. So I'm going to give me 200. Now Misken Michel, he comes and he's saying, I don't understand. I was the one that gave 200. He says, okay, but he just has to say 200. What's going on? They come to a bedin. Now, if you're going to do like the rabbis, so then really Be'emet, I gained. Why? I get my 100 back. He gets his 100 back, but now he lost his 100. But his 100 is, when Eliyahu Navi comes, we'll speak. But now, according to Rabbi Yosei, not like Rabbanan, that they say that all the 300 is going to go until Eliyahu Navi is going to come. So then what's going to happen? So he comes and he says, so in such a case, what's going to happen? He says in such a case, the trickster is going to want to come, the Ramai is going to want to come, he's going to want to admit. because now I've got my money, which is now strapped until Eliyahu comes. I thought I was doing a good prank on the guy. The one that does the last prank is only on himself, not on anybody else. No, but this is in the Shita of Rabbi Yosef. Okay, we're in the Shita of Rabbi Yosef. We're trying to find out who is our Mishnah like. We're not talking about in halachot. Because in halachot anyway, we're not in halachot. But we're talking about though, what is our Mishnah? Is our Mishnah like Rabbi Yosef or not? So we want to say that obviously it's not going to be like Rabbi Yosef. Then we come and say, no, it could be like Rabbi Yosef. Why? Over there, the trickster, he has a knas. By us, there's no knas. Why? Maybe Be'emet, it belonged to both of them. Maybe Be'emet. There's no trickster. There's no trickster. So if there's no Ramai, so therefore Be'emet, we don't have this takana, right, for the tricksters. So says the Gemara, one second. You're right, there's no trickster by a Metzia. Why? Maybe we both found it at the exact same time. We both come, we both pick it up, right? And right, and we come and we both. So there's no trickster, right? Not about loss, but there's no trickster. There's no Ramai. So if there's no Ramai, remember the takana is on the Ramaut that we want to come do it. So he comes, the Drara Damon was Sumchus. That's another Yisod, right? So one more time. Now that we both picked it up at the same time, there you could say there's no trickster. But about Mekach Umemkar, for sure there's going to be a trickster, right? I come and I say I bought it from him, right? You come and you come and you say you bought it from him. So it's going to be a big problem, right? Which one bought it first? There's obviously going to be a Ramai over there. So he says, Tenach Metzia Mekach Umemkar Ma'ikalemim. What are you going to do by Mekach Umemkar? Right? Answers the Gemara, Ela Machvarta Kedeshanina Meikara. You're right. Because the Mekach Umemkar, for sure there has to be a Ramai. So because of that, we're just going to say that Rabbi Yosef is Yemamon Munach. We're going to say that it's Davka Bimkom Shavada Yesh Ramai. In a place where it could be that there's no Ramai, Rabbi Yosef says, really be'emet, that it's Yachloku. So the same thing, it comes out that the Maskana is any place where there's a Vadai Ramai, so for sure they're going to place the money there. Whether there's going to be a Hafsed or not a Hafsed, because we don't care about the Hafsed or not, we're just coming and just saying, is there a Ramai for sure, or not a Ramai for sure? Okay, fine. So says the Gemara, Ben le Rabbanan u ben le Rabbi Yosef. Whether it's according to Shitat Rabbanan, or whether it's going according to the Shita of Rabbi Yosef, Hatam gabe chenvani al pinkaso. There, to do with the case of a chenvani al pinkaso, which that was the first case. You remember the first case of Ben Nanas. The chenvani al pinkaso is that I come and I tell David, please come and pay my employees. All of a sudden, he comes and he says, I pay my employees, pay up. And the employees come to me and they say, he never paid us a penny, pay up. So now what happens? We have a problem. That's the Chenvani al Pinkaso. So he comes and he says, over there in the case of the Chenvani al Pinkaso, diktani that we learned, Zenishba v'notel, Zenishba v'notel, each one is going to swear, and they're going to take from the Balabait, which means the Balabait loses on both ends. How does he lose on both ends? Because the employees are going to swear, or the employee, even one employee, is going to swear and he's going to take his money. And then the Chenvani is going to swear and he's going to take the money. So the Balabait has to pay now double. He's going to pay back by all. Ma'ishna, huh? So Ma'ishna de lo amnina nafke lemona mi Balabait, yemunachat shevoliyah. Over there, we have the question. Why don't we just say, why are you taking it out? Just put it until the Eliyahu comes. There's a machlok of what's happening with the money, right? No. The Balabait is not going to lose. One more time, the for sure, right? There's going to be either the Chenvani or the Poel. So in such a case, right? Just put it just like over there, just like in the case of the Maneh Shlishi, we come and we say that it should be in, and right, you should wait until Eliyahu comes. The same thing here, for sure. There's a Ramai, so it's like the exact same case of the Maneh Shlishi, and therefore you cannot come and say that both of them are coming and take. So that whether it's according to Chachamim or whether according to Rabbi Yosef, the deen should be that if you have two people coming and they're demanding the same money, for sure there's a Ramai. So if there's a Ramai, just put it until Eliyahu comes. Right? So one more time. You have the storekeeper. You have the employees. They're both coming and saying, pay up. The Balabait, why is he going to lose out? Right? Why is he going to lose out? So he comes and he says, okay, fine, you know what? No problem. Bedin, according to whatever it is, there's $100 that it was supposed to be paid out. Here's $100. When Eliyahu Navi comes, you decide who to give it to. Whether it's going to be the Chenvani, the storekeeper, or the employee. But it's nothing to do with me. But there, for sure, there's a Ramai. So why am I going to lose double? I have to pay double? Right? Think about it. I have to pay double. So that's what the Gemara is asking. So says the Gemara, Amri, they said, Hatam over there, Hainu Tama, the reasoning is, Ta'amar lechenvani lebalabait, the Chenvani tells the Balabait, Ana shlichuta didach kavina. I did your shlichut, and I did exactly what you told me to. You went and you sent me as a messenger. Pay my employees. I did that. Ma'itli kabesachid, right? What am I going to come to do with the poel? I have nothing to do with them. So afal gav de kamishtaba li lo meheman li bishvua. Even if he's going to come and he's going to swear that I didn't pay him, I don't believe him with the shavua. I'm going to say he's a rasha. I don't want to deal with him. Meaning this, the balabai, the chenvani, right? Which is the shliach in this case, right? The storekeeper, he could come in and could say, listen, I don't understand what's going on. He says, you came and you told me to do you a favor. Right? What was the favor? Pay my employee. I went and I did it. Now he's going to come with Bava Metzia, right? And he's going to come and start saying that I didn't pay him. He wants to even swear that I didn't pay him. I have nothing to do with him. The truth is, I would never have anything to do with him. I don't trust him. So even a shavua that he would make that I didn't pay him, I don't trust him. It's between me and you. And since it's between me and you have to pay me. I don't care what's going on with this guy. Right? Why? Because at the end of the day, I only have to do with you. I don't have to do with anything of the next person. Right? Of course he could do that. Of course he could do that. My itli gabesachid, afal gav de kavishtabali, lo memeli bishvua. Atemente. You were the one that believed him by making him your poel, by making him your worker. You never came and told me to pay him with witnesses. Which means like this. If right now, right, exactly, meaning if you're right now, you're going to come and you're going to, so why didn't you tell me? Go pay him with witnesses, get a receipt from him, get something. You believed him. So therefore, says the Chenvani, I apologize. You sent me to come and to do a shlichut. I did the shlichut. Now the other guy is going to come with the stories. I didn't pay him. But it has nothing to do with me. By the way, this happens all the time. Right? Many times it comes and it happens. Go give this person the money. Right? You go give it to him. All of a sudden the guy comes and says, no, I didn't receive anything. No.
Or missing.
Right? Or the money's missing.
No,
what happens now?
100,
right?
Something.
Things like that. I'll say, no, I did my job. I went and I did my shlichut. But I only have to do with you. With the other guy, I have nothing to do with him. I was doing you a favor. So therefore, I did your shlichut. That's it. Now let's flip the other way around. The employee comes and he tells the balabait, Ana avdi avitat gebach. Did I work for the storekeeper? I worked for you. So he says, what do I care about the storekeeper? Even if the storekeeper is going to swear to me that he paid me, I don't believe him. So therefore, hilkach tarvaihu mishtabaye v'shakle mi balabait. Because of this, listen to the chokhmah. Because of this, both of them swear, and they both take from the balabait. Meaning the balabait right here is 100% losing. Because here the employees are taking from him 100, and the chenvanim, the storekeeper, is taking from him 100, and there was only 100 paid. Now he just doesn't know who paid, or whether they received the money, didn't receive the. He doesn't know what's going on. He has to pay now double. Why? Because of his actions. Because each one comes and he says, I only have to do with you. I have nothing to do with him. So therefore, by the way, this happens all the time. Many times somebody comes and he says, you owe me money, you want to pay me back? No, you know what? Give it to him. The second that you say those words, give it to him, you just put yourself in a trap. Because if something happens, you're responsible. Because I'm going to come and I'm going to say, I have not, and the other is going to say he has nothing to do with him, and now you fell in the trap. So that's why it's always better, go always to the original source. Don't come and start, because look what happened. The guy's going to lose on both ends. 1 minute. So therefore, the Gemara is going to now come and say, okay, fine. So now we understand the Shita of Rabbi Yosef. So now we're going to continue with Rabbi Chia. So Rabbi Chia comes, right, and he says as follows. Tani Rabbi Chia. Rabbi Chia comes and he teaches his students. Mane li biyadecha. Vehala omer en lecha biyadi kelum. Yeah? So imagine, I come and I say, listen, I gave you as you owe me 100 zuz. And the other guy comes and he says, I don't have anything. Vayedim meidim oto, right? Sheyesh lo 50 zuz. Right? Imagine right now, I have witnesses. But the witnesses only testify about 50. Not about 100. Only 50. So says the Gemara, right? Noten lo 50 zuz. He has to give the 50 zuz. V'yishava lashar. He has to swear on the rest. Shelo tehe hoda'at piv gedola. Me'adat edim mikal v'chomer. Because we don't want that the ta'ana right, of the Hodat Piv is going to be stronger than Edim from a Kal Vachomer, right? At the end of the day, he was Modem Miktzat, right? That the entire concept is that he would have to come and he would have to make a Shavua. Now that the Edim are coming that he's going to be Modem Miktzat, shouldn't be Kal Vachomer that he has to make Shavua. So I'll give you the case, right? Imagine right now. So he comes and he says like this, yeah? So the concept is as follows. If I come and I say, right, that the doctor owes me $100, and the doctor says, I only owe you 50, what happens?
We have witnesses or not?
No witnesses. What do you have to do? Modeh b'miktzat, he pays me 50, and he has to swear.
So what good is it?
Right? Which one?
Still a thief.
No. He swears that it was only 50 or that he already paid back 50, and then he only has to pay me back 50, but he swears. Why? Modeh b'miktzat atana. One second. Modeh b'miktzat atana. He has to be nishava. He has to swear. Here, though, what happens if I tell the doctor, you owe me $100, and he tells me zero? What happens? Nothing whatsoever. Okay, fine. Right? This we learned many times already. So now one second, modeh b'miktzat, you have to swear, right? No, the miktzat is a part of it, a portion of it.
Okay, but here he
right?
says it's the minimum that he says, but here
No,
he says
zero is not being modeh at all. I'm denying. That's not modeh. Modeh means you admit to something,
the minimum that
right?
he was saying.
No, it's completely denying. Fine. Now comes the Gemara and says like this: what happens if right now I come and I tell him you owe me $100? He tells me zero, but now that means he's not modeh b'miktzat. But I bring two witnesses. The two witnesses, though, they don't say 100. They only say 50. So says the Gemara, we cannot have that Edim is going to be worse than Moda'ah Bal Peh. And therefore, if the Edim are testifying that it was 50, we're not going to say that it's going to be worse than the Hoda'ah Al Peh. And the fact that it's not going to be worse than the Hoda'ah Al Peh, what's going to happen? The what? He has to swear and pay me 50.
Now, what if he said?
One second. Everyone understood or not?
No, but it's,
The Tana Tuna, right? So the Tana, which is our Tana, he's going to say like this: Shnai mochazim betali v'zeh ani mitzatia v'zeh ani mitzatia ve'ahacha. But over here in our Mishnah, kevan de tafis, since each one is machzik in the talit, anan sade, we are the witnesses. De mai de tafis haididehu. That each one is being tofes in something of theirs. And therefore, since each one is being tofes in something which is theirs, so therefore it makes sense. Okay? Which means, right, that we are the edim, that each one is machzik in his own. And therefore, since each one has a certain, right, percentage in at least half, right? At least a certain type of a you want to say achizah, basically that he's got a stronghold, that this is his, and we're ki'ilu the witnesses. We are the witnesses that he has the half. So therefore it comes out, this is what we're talking about then. Uktan yishava, and therefore we said yishava. So says the Gemara, "Mai shelote hodat piv gedola meodat edim mikal v'chomer." What does that mean now that hodat piv cannot be worse, right, than hadat edim in mikal v'chomer? So the Gemara says like this: "Shelot tomar hodat piv u'deramya rachmana shivua lei kederabba." The Amar Rabba, the Rabba says, Torah, we're going to go now into the logistics. Meaning like this. Today we're learning the reason behind. The rabbis come and they say, we know that there's a rule. And I gave you the rule. Only when you're modeh b'miktzat ta'ana do you have to swear. Right? Now the question is, why? Misvara, I would have said you're a good guy. Imagine right now, I come to Bedin. Yeah? And I come and I say that, okay, fine. You guys don't want to put names. I was going to put names. Right? So what happens is that John Doe. Yeah? I come and I say, John Doe, you owe me $100. He says, I don't owe you a penny. What's halacha? You don't owe you a penny. You deny completely. So what happens? Nada. Zero. All of a sudden, I come to Bedin, right? 5 minutes later. And I come and I say, Mr. John Doe, you owe me $100. He says, no, I apologize. I do owe you, but I owe you 50.
Yeah.
Right? Or it doesn't matter. Even you're right. Even $1. Even one. Modem miktzat tatana. It could be ktzat. Stam I just say. So what happens? He has to pay the one or whatever it is, right? That he's, and then he swears. The logic is the exact opposite. I would have said, listen, this guy is a good guy. He's already admitting to the truth. I'm going to come making him swear. But the other guy, right? The other guy, it doesn't make sense. So what's going on? So now we're going back into the computer science to understand why do you have to make a shavua? Meaning, it's not that every single person is going to come and make a shavua. So why? What's going on exactly? How does it work? Right? So he comes and he says the psychology behind it. So he comes and he says, it's a chazakah she'en adam me'is panav bifnei bal chovo. We have a chazakah that a person does not have the audacity to come and to... Somebody just came and he did you a favor. Right? If you're going to come, such an azut metzach. I know people that have a chutzpah, right? They have a zut. But such an azut metzach to come and to say that they didn't, nothing. There's a chazakah. En adam meiz panav bifnei bal chovo. It's impossible. The guy cannot say zero. It doesn't exist. V'hai bechulei bay de nichperei. V'hadelo kafre mishum dein adam meiz panav. So really, Be'emet, he wanted to go against the entire thing. He wanted to say zero. But he can't. Because he just doesn't have the audacity. He can't look at the guy in the face. He's going to look at the guy in the face and say that I didn't borrow anything? And the guy's like, what? Can't look at me and say that? Because remember, the Bedin are watching what's going on. The guy can't come and say, no, I didn't take anything. Look at him and say that. What does that mean? We're putting you to the test.
There's two things.
Yeah?
The amount and the transaction.
The transaction. So he comes and he says, a person has a chazakah, he cannot come and say it doesn't exist. So he says, so because of that, right, what happens? So really, be'emet, right, this person wanted to be modeh to the entire thing. So why doesn't he admit? He's trying to get out of it. And he holds, until I have the money, I'm going to pay back. So the Torah says, sorry, Rami, thank you. Rami Shavua lei, go give him a Shavua, in order that he should be modeh and the entire amount. So one more time, let's go back to the logistics. The Gemara, the Torah goes deep into psychology of the human being. And they say like this, really, be'emet, you wanted to come and you wanted to say that I don't know anything. But there's a chazakah, you can't do that. Why? The guy just did you a huge favor. He saved your back, as they say, right? And all of a sudden now you're going to come, you're going to say he didn't even do me nothing. I'm saying that's too much of a chutzpah. He can't do that. But really, Be'emet, he did want to do that. So what's he going to do? He's going to say, I'll owe you half. Why is he only telling you half? Because right now he only has half. I gave you the example half. It could be even a third. It could be like what he said. It could be even $10, whatever, out of the 100. But the concept is, right now, that's what I have. So he comes, and he's going to give the $10. And then when he works a little bit more, he gets some money, he's going to pay back another 90. So says the rabbis, make him do a shavua. Why? Because now that he does a shavua, he's going to be model kol haemet. On the whole thing.
Of course.
The whole thing.
Obviously.
Says the Gemara, aval hadat edim teleka lemimar hachi. But here by edim, you don't say this. Meaning, why would edim actually come and obligate you a shavua? Any case, he was kafar the entire chov. Meaning, one more time, we're going back to what is the reason why we're mechayev a shavua. So we just said that there's a chazakah, en adam meiz panav keneged bal chovo, right? A chazakah. And again, right, once upon a time, people were very, very careful. They didn't have the azut panim like they have nowadays, right? But nowadays, it's ikvat to the meshicha. So therefore, chutzpah yaske, what do you want? There's chutzpah all over the world, right? So therefore, right, it's a completely different world. But in the olden days, it didn't exist. So therefore, if he's going to be kofer, he's not going to be kofer. It's impossible. So therefore, he's going to be modeh b'miktzat. Once he's modeh b'miktzat, he's trying to buy time. We come and make him do a shavua. When two edim come, you don't have this. Because when two edim come, he already was kofer and everything. So if he was a kofer and everything, why would I obligate him a shavua? The entire concept of a shavua was that way he should be modeh. Here he was kofer and everything. So for what are you talking about? So says the Gemara, so I would say be'emet that he doesn't obligate a shavua. Kamash malan comes tishu kal vachomer. And therefore, if on hodat atzmo he's going to come and he's going to obligate a shivua, kal vachomer on edim, that the second that the edim come, it's going to obligate him a shivua, even though you don't have the entire, how do you call this, entire background or the entire svarot of the logics, but you're still going to come and you're going to obligate the shivua. So says the Gemara, my kal vachomer, what's the kal vachomer? Uma piv she'en mechayvo mamon. Mechayvo shivua. Edim shemechayvin oto mamon. En odin shemechayvin oto shivua. Says 1 second, what is the kal vachomer? You know what the kal vachomer is, right? The hoda'ah is not going to come and to be mechayev oto the mamon. Okay? What does that mean? We're going to explain the covenant in a second, right? The hoda'ah, meaning the admittance, is not going to obligate him money, but it still obligates him a shavua. But the second that he was modeh, he's chayav in a shavua. But edim are more powerful. Edim could obligate money. What happens if edim come and they say it was 70? What happens? He has to pay 70. If edim come and they say it's 30, he has to pay 30. Right? Again, he's being kofer on everything. He's saying 0. The second that the edim come, the edim are obligating money. So if the edim are obligating money, so therefore kal vachomer that they're going to be mechayev oto shavua. So says the Gemara, what are you talking about? Upivim mechayvo mamon hodad baldin k'mei edim dami. When a person comes and he admits, that is edim. That's 100 edim. If I come and I say that I own, right, John Paul, right, $100, right? Sorry, let's say it was going to be, but I come and I say I own 50. That's like I have 100 edim coming behind me and saying that I own 50. So what do you mean that my own hodat baldin is not edim? That is edim. That's 100 edim. So the hodat baldin for sure obligates money. So what are you talking about then?
But how can he lie?
What? One second. So says the Gemara, right? V'hodat baldin is like 100 witnesses. So my mamon. So says the Gemara, what does it mean that we said uma piv shen mechayvo mamon? It says no. Uma piv shen mechayvo kenas. Your mouth never obligates you knas. Your mouth could obligate you money. Your mouth can never obligate you a knas. So he says, and it's still going to be mechayev a shavua. Edim, which they do mechayev a knas, enodim shemechayvim oto mamon. One more time. What does this mean? We're trying to say, if a person comes with his mouth and he says, I owe this person, I agree, I owe him 50. Does he obligated to pay? Yes. What is that? That's money. So my mouth can obligate money. Can my mouth obligate a knas? No. If I come and I say, by the way, I ran a red light, or I did another thing, which is a knas, right? What happens? You're not chayav knas. I stole. So here's the thing back. What happens? You don't pay the kefel. Kefel is the knas. You do not pay the knas. So therefore, right, in all, the mouth cannot pay the penalty, right? Knas is a penalty. You never pay penalty when on your words. On your free words, right? Keren, obviously. But no, you never pay knas. One more time, right? So 1 minute. Let me explain. Says the Gemara, right? One more time, right? We're talking about a case of knas. You would never pay for a knas. So whether it's going to be a penalties on, whether it's speeding, whether it's going to be penalties on extra amounts, right? All these extra things that you'll never pay on your own. You only pay the principal, which is the actual amount, right? Which is going to be, right, for example, damage, right? So damage, you have to pay damages, right? When we're talking about tickets are always penalties. They're never things. So you will never pay a penalty, right? You never pay knas al pi atzmo. You only pay for the mamon. Mamon is damages or things like that, but you will never pay for a knas. I'll give you an example. Hit and run. Right? So let's say because it was a hit and run, they give him extra. The damages of the car was 5,000. Because it was a hit and run, they want to say now you have to pay 7. That extra 2,000 is a knas. He will never pay al pi hodat atzmo. He will never pay the extra 2. He'll pay the 5. The 5 is the mamon, the value, that yes, but he'll never pay an extra. An extra is a penalty he'll never pay. So says the Gemara, what does it mean mamon? Mamon does not mean, right, mamon. It means knas. So through your mouth, you'll never pay knas. But edim, that they do obligate you knas, if 2 edim come and they say that it was a hit and run, 2 edim come and say he sped a red light, 2 edim come and say that he stole, he does have to pay the kefel, he does have to pay the penalties, he does have to pay the fines. So therefore, in such a case, obviously we're going to obligate him a shavua. So says the Gemara, that's also not true. Ma lefiv sheken mechayvo korban. His mouth will actually come and obligate him a korban chatat. When he comes and he says that he did an avirah, he actually has to come and he has to bring a korban chatat. Tomar be'edim, right? That's going to be by edim she'en mechayvo to korban, right? They don't obligate him to do a korban, which means if you have two witnesses coming that he made a mistake, right? And he says it's not true, he's never obligated to bring a chatat. So therefore, his own mouth is worse. It's not a knas, it's a korban, right? It's not knas, right? One more time. His own mouth is worse than edim. Before we thought there was a difference by mamon, so it's not true. A person's mouth does obligate him mamon, right? And therefore, obviously, edim could obligate him mamon. So then we said, okay, fine. So it's knas. So you're right. A person's mouth cannot obligate him knas, but edim could obligate him knas. So that's a kal v'chomer. Edim is stronger than the person's mouth. Says the Gemara, flip it. What about a korban? A korban, if a person comes and he says, I did a sin, right? And he did it accidentally. What is he obligated? Korban chatat. If two edim come and he says that you did a sin accidentally, they don't obligate him a korban. He just says he denies it. He doesn't have to bring. No, they come and they say he didn't realize, but on Shabbat he turned on the light, right? And we come and we say, and he comes and he says himself, what are you talking about? I never turned on the light. So in such a case, he's patur from a korban, even though you have two witnesses, right? That he did something mishogeg. No, he's going to be patur from a korban. So therefore, what's more stronger? His mouth, not the edim. So says the Gemara, ala kashya. It's not a question. He says Rabbi Chia, right? That he's doing this kal v'chomer. He holds like Rabbi Meir. The Amar that he says edim mechayvin oto korban. No, edim can obligate him a korban from a kal v'chomer. The Tanam, we learned on the Mishnah Kritut. Amru lo shnayim achalta chelef. Two people come and they say that you ate chelef, prohibited fats, and he says I didn't eat. Rabbi Meir comes and he says you're going to be chayav a korban chatat. Chachamim say you're going to be patur. Amar Rabbi Meir says Rabbi Meir im eviu shnayim lidei mita chamura lo evid lidei korban akal. He says I don't understand you. Says Rabbi Meir, let's use logic. Two witnesses come and they say that he killed. He was mechalel Shabbat. He was oved avodah zarah. What do? They kill him. Witnesses could come and cause him death or cause him whatever, and now you're going to tell me that they can't cause him a korban? Doesn't make sense, right? Amrulo, they told him, yeah, but ma'im yirtze lomar mezid hayiti azi pater. He could have answered that up very quickly by just saying, I didn't do a b'shogeg. I did it b'mezid. And by doing it b'mezid, now he's not obligated to korban. Remember, a korban chatat is only on a shogeg, not on mezid. So therefore, Chachamim come and they say, since he could be poteret atzmo, he could exempt himself from the korban by saying there was going to be mezid, it doesn't help. Ela, but rather, ma lefiv sheken mechayvo hasham. Okay, fine. But his own mouth could obligate him hasham. Hasham is a guilt offering. So that's on purpose. Remember, the chatat is sin offering, which is b'shogeg. The hasham is a guilt offering b'mezid. So says the Gemara, hasham ainu korban, selam imshos. An hasham is a korban. So he comes and he says, ela, but rather, ma lefiv shechayv mechayvo chomesh. Fine. But what about his mouth? His mouth will obligate him into a chomesh. What does that mean? I come and I say that John Doe has my money. And then he comes and he says he doesn't have it, and he swears that he doesn't have it. And then he's modeh al sheker. He's obligated to pay the fifth. Right? That means that is a case that not only does he have to pay the keren, he has to pay the fifth. So you see from here that his own mouth is obligated to pay a fifth. So says the Gemara, halakash, that's not a question. He says, Rabbi Chia holds like Rabbi Meir, right? Ki hechi de mechayev le korban mikal v'chomer, mechayev le chomesh mikal v'chomer. He comes and he says this. He says, just like the korban you're going to be chayav because of a kal v'chomer, so too the chomesh you're going to be chayav because of the kal v'chomer. Which means one more time, Rabbi Meir, he says that if two witnesses come and they say that you're obligated to korban chatat, are you chayav or not? Rabbi Meir. One more time, machloket rabbanan and chachamim. Two witnesses come and they say that you ate chelev. And the guy comes and he says, no. Is he chayav to bring a korban chatat? Yes or no? According to Rabbi Meir, yes. And according to Rabbanan, no. Chazak u'baruch. Why? Kal v'chomer. What's a kal v'chomer? If the witnesses could come and they could obligate you death, obviously they could obligate you a korban. Says the Gemara, the exact same thing happens with the fifth. This extra fifth, which is obligating, is the exact same thing that if right now the witnesses could come and obligate you all types of penalties, whether it's the 4 of them, 5 and all these things, so kavachomer, they could obligate you to pay the fifth, and that's the kavachomer. So says the Gemara, okay fine, malafiv sheken enu bechashav ba'azama. Tomar be'edim shishnam bechashav ba'azama. One second. You want to say that edim is much stronger than your own or than your own mouth? He says edim there exists a concept of a chashav azama. By yourself, there's no such thing as a chashav azama, right? Which means that's it. There's no such thing. By edim, there does exist such a thing, which means that edim should be weaker than your mouth, because I could always get out of edim. Whether it's hachasha means that I have contradictory testimony, or hazama that I say manu ayitem, you guys were with us somewhere else, so I made you edim zomim. So says the Gemara, you're right. Ela atya me'ed echad. We're learning it from one ed. Uma ed echad she'en mechayevo mamon, mechayevo shavua, edim shmechayevim oto mamon, en odim shmechayevim. You're right. We're learning it from a kal vachomer, from one witness. If one witness comes, he's going to be mechayev shavua, but not mamon. So kal vachomer, when you have two edim, it's going to be mechayev shavua, right? The minimum. It should be mechayev shavua. Which means like this: I come and I say, John Doe, you owe me $100, right? I don't have any witnesses, but there's one witness that comes. That one witness will come, and he cannot take the money out of you, because it's only one, but he can make you swear. So says the Gemara, kal vachomer. If the one witness could come and make you swear, kal vachomer, that the two witnesses could come and they'll make you swear. So says the Gemara, maleh ed echad sheken al mashu meid hu nishba. He says, what are you talking about? On that which the witness is coming, he's actually swearing. Right? One more time. One witness comes and he says, you owe the 100. So he's coming and he's swearing that he doesn't owe the 100. But over here, when we're talking about the witnesses, the two edim, al mashu kafaru nishba. Meaning like this. One more time. I come and I say, John Doe, you owe me $100. Says 0. I come and I bring Ronen, right? I come and I bring Ronen, and Ronen comes and he says, right, I'm the one witness, he owes him the $100. What does he have to swear? Right? What does he have to swear? He's swearing on that which he's testifying. The one witness is testifying on 100. The guy has to swear that he doesn't owe the 100. So that makes sense. When two witnesses come, what are they saying? He's swearing on the balance. That's a big difference. It's not the same thing. That's what they're going to say. Tomorrow we'll continue with that.